You can become my supporter by clicking that jingly wingly join button. I will play Dead by Daylight with you, you will get an exclusive Discord role, and you will get to see some exclusive secret videos. Join now and satisfy your inner needs. Hello my friends, so I've been making Dead by Daylight videos for more than 3 years now, and during this time I've seen a lot of people complaining and saying things like this. I miss old Dead by Daylight. DBD is more boring than ever. Developers have ruined this game. But is it really true? Did developers really ruin the game? Or is it just nostalgia and placebo effect? Okay guys, I'm not gonna waste your time. Dead by Daylight used to be better than it is right now, in my opinion. If you think that Dead by Daylight right now is better than this game has ever been, well, you know, you are correct in a way, because this game has more content than it has ever had, but more content doesn't mean that it's a better game. So let's talk about why I believe that Dead by Daylight used to be a better and more fun game than it is right now. But before that, if you want me to come on your mom's titties, then don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to mention that Dead by Daylight is still a fun game, and honestly, if it wasn't fun, I just wouldn't play this game, because I'm not ready to waste my time on something that is not fun to play. Dead by Daylight has stood a test of time for me. I have played so many other games, like Overwatch, CSGO, Valorant, Apex Legends, Growtopia, New World, etc, etc. And all of these games, they were great for a short duration of time, but then I got bored and I didn't really want to revisit those games. While Dead by Daylight, it's so hard to get bored of this game for me personally. And even if I get bored of Dead by Daylight, eventually I'm like, nah man, I can't, I just need to get the dosage of Dead by Daylight. And then I play Dead by Daylight again and I get hooked again, and now I got almost 3,000 hours in Dead by Daylight, and I'm not ready to give this game up. It's so much of fun even these days. So when people come to me and they're like, hey boy Dilly, do you play Rainbow Six Siege? And I'm like, yeah man, I play that game. And they're like, why don't you make videos about that game? Man, I'm making videos about the game that I'm truly passionate about and not really bored of, and it's Dead by Daylight. I really love this game. I started playing Dead by Daylight in 2018, which I believe is 5 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at maths. And even though in that time I've achieved a lot in this game, basically I was a top tier killer and top tier survivor player back in the day, I'm not a legacy player. I mean, this game was already like 3 years old when I started playing Dead by Daylight. And yeah, if you didn't know, Dead by Daylight is a very old game. In fact, this game is already over 7 years old, and I believe that this game will continue to live on, because in those 7 years, this game has been dominating the genre like no other game. So many competitors tried to steal Dead by Daylight's players, and all of those games ended up dead. So yeah, I've seen a lot of things in those 5 or 6 years of me playing Dead by Daylight. And I remember when I started playing this game was so much different than it is right now. Now you're probably thinking, no shit boy Dilly, it was like 7 years ago, what the fuck are you talking about? You might be thinking, this game has had so much of time to improve, and that's true. This game has improved in a lot of aspects. For example, when I started playing Dead by Daylight was also known as Dead by Buglight. It had so many bugs, like literally almost every single game had crazy funny bugs, which actually was kind of funny and, you know, nostalgic, but bugs are not supposed to exist in the games and they are supposed to be patched. And nowadays Dead by Daylight has less bugs than it has ever had. Not to mention that a lot of people are complaining that there are many cheaters in Dead by Daylight. But trust me, anti-cheat has never been better than it is right now. Anti-cheat of Dead by Daylight is not perfect, and of course there's a cheating problem in Dead by Daylight, but it's not as bad as when I started playing Dead by Daylight. Also, when I started playing Dead by Daylight, there was no endgame collapse, so games could literally continue for like forever, and some games would last for 2 hours straight up. And also there was very limited content in this game compared to what we got these days. So as you can see, many aspects of Dead by Daylight have improved, and I think that overall speaking, Dead by Daylight is in a much more stable state than this game has ever been. But is it more fun than it was back in the day? And this is where I have to say no. I know that many of you started playing this game relatively late compared to me, so you will never experience the fun that I had back in 2018 or 2019. But, and here's a big but, because I like girls with big butts, I'm gonna explain to you why nowadays I don't find this game as much fun as back in the day. So I'm gonna start talking about nostalgic reasons at first, and these reasons are very biased, and you know, you are all gamers, so you all had that one game that you made so many memories, for example Minecraft back in the day, and nowadays it's just not as much fun as it used to be, and the reason is nostalgia. So you gotta understand me that these reasons are purely based on the things that I miss and my personal experience. But by the end of this video you will know the real legitimate reason for why I believe that this game used to be much more fun to play than it is right now. So let's start with nostalgic reasons for why I believe that Dead by Daylight used to be better. Okay, so this is gameplay footage from like 3 or 4 years ago when I was 16 years old. As you can see, Dead by Daylight looks very different. Wait, let me show you this with my voice.
Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So as you all know, games like Rainbow Six Siege, PUBG, CSGO or even Dead by Daylight, they all have different maps. And some of them are being loved by the community, some of them are...
Oh my god, that fucking microphone is cringe. I remember filming this to my absolutely zero viewer audience. Guys, I seriously got to thank you, because now I'm making money from YouTube and I'm very happy to be in this position. But as you can see, everything in Dead by Daylight has been updated or changed. Spawning animation used to be very different. Walking animations used to be very different. The HUD, oh my god, I miss the old HUD. It used to look very simple and, you know, there was no faces of survivors, but everybody liked the old HUD, and in fact, if I could bring it back, I would exchange the HUD that we got nowadays for this old simple HUD. I mean, I remember the day when Dead by Daylight developers announced that they would be changing running and walking animations, and people were not happy about it. There's a saying, don't fix what's not broken, and walking in Dead by Daylight was never broken. In fact, we all got used to walking animations, and when people started to master 360s in Dead by Daylight and moonwalking, all of a sudden Dead by Daylight developers decided to change walking animations, which was something nobody asked for, but I understand why they did it. And now I really miss the old survivor walking animations. It used to feel a little bit clunkier than it feels right now in Dead by Daylight. I don't know if you can spot any difference when I'm running or walking in this gameplay footage, but back in the day playing survivor felt much different, and you know, for some people it used to be better, for some people it's better to play survivor now. Nowadays Dead by Daylight feels much more polished, but I prefer old survivor spawn animations, and also I really miss old walking, vaulting and sprinting animations. You know, everything has been overhauled, and you know, there's a reason for why developers decided to overhaul those things. They want to keep the game up to date, it's understandable, but I miss those things and I would like to experience all of these things again, but sadly I can't. Not to mention that in this gameplay footage that you can see right now, I'm playing on the old Coldwind farm map, which I think that right now Coldwind is a better map especially graphically speaking, but I really dislike some of the map reworks. For example, I don't like the reworked Macmillan Estate. Macmillan Estate is my favorite realm in Dead by Daylight, and prior to the rework, Macmillan Estate had a very distinct and unique look to it. It had a blue and scary, creepy atmosphere all around it, and then all of a sudden Macmillan Estate got a big rework, and now that map looks pretty generic, and I don't really like the way it looks that much. And I believe that some of these new map reworks destroy the legacy of those maps, and you know, it honestly hurts me as a big Dead by Daylight enthusiast, and I'm not the only one who dislikes some of the new map reworks. So I think that another reason of why I enjoyed Dead by Daylight back in the day more is that I just enjoyed the look of some of these maps more, not to mention that nowadays we got some of the worst maps in Dead by Daylight, like the newest Dead by Daylight map that came with the Singularity. It's a shitty map, let's be honest, especially if you're a killer main. And back in the day we had no maps like that. We had no Resident Evil map, because RPD is probably the worst map in the game. I remember the worst map in the game back in the day was Haddonfield, and yeah, I really love Haddonfield's rework, so that would be one exception where I will say that it's a perfect rework. One really funny thing is that all of these map reworks, they were supposed to make these maps look much more spooky and scary to play, but Dead by Daylight felt way more scary to play back in the day, and thematically Dead by Daylight is a horror game, and this game really shines when it's truly a horror game, but we don't really play Dead by Daylight like it's a horror game anymore, and I think that there's a skill-based matchmaking system at fault for this, because it makes Dead by Daylight more competitive than casual and silly fun. And this is where my nostalgia ends, because I believe that we got to blame skill-based matchmaking system, because believe it or no, back in the day Dead by Daylight had no skill-based matchmaking system whatsoever. This game had ranks. Ranks looked like grades these days, but they would not reset every single month, and there was a ranking system, rank 1 to rank 20. Everybody would start being rank 20, and eventually they would pip up to rank 1, which is the best rank in the game. And technically Dead by Daylight was trying to put you in the same game with players that have similar ranks to yours, but it was not a secret that ranking system in Dead by Daylight was broken, so even though you were like rank 18 player, you would still get connected to players that are rank 1 or rank 2. So it was completely random, and there was no MMR, there was no skill-based matchmaking system whatsoever. Ranks was the only thing that was supposed to determine your opponents, but even that system was broken. So you could get an opponent that is better than you could get an opponent that is much worse at this game than you, or you could get an opponent that is playing Dead by Daylight at your level. It was completely random, and it made Dead by Daylight feel like a much more scary game, and it also made Dead by Daylight feel like a fun kind of a party game. And I believe that Dead by Daylight was never meant to be a competitive game. This game was made to be a casual game. Just take a look at this game. Every single palette placement in this game is randomized, generator placement in this game is randomized. You never truly know what killer you will be facing. You never know what items survivors brought into the game. You never know if survivors are playing as friends or no. You also don't know what map you're gonna get. Even if you know what map you're gonna get, you don't know where exactly you will spawn. As you can see, all of these things just don't add up, and they don't make a perfect competitive game. DBD will never be a competitive game, but strangely enough, Dead by Daylight developers were like, let's make this casual game a little bit competitive for no reason. So they added skill-based matchmaking system into this casual game, and nowadays your opponents are very try-hard survivors or very try-hard killer players, and this is why this game feels pretty unbalanced and boring, because most survivor players these days are survive with friends teams that are trying to to beat you up for making even a single small mistake. It feels incredibly unrewarding and unfun. I don't even play killer these days, and it used to be my main role in this game. I played for like 1,200 hours maybe, just killer alone. And nowadays I really want to play killer, but I can't because I feel like I suck. And I can't really tell if I suck as the killer or no, because MMR is hidden, so you can't even see your MMR. That's kind of stupid, because in every single other game that is competitive, your MMR is visible. Like, literally, this game doesn't have that thing, and I really miss this aspect of the game. I feel like this game could have been better. Yeah, back in the day, this game wasn't as balanced as it is right now, but yet again, this game used to be much more casual, and I don't think that casual games need to be balanced necessarily. I think that Dead by Daylight is a game where killer truly needs to be stronger than survivors, because this game is 1v4 and survivors are supposed to be scared of the killer. This is a horror game, come on. Survivors are supposed to be shaking when they play against killer, and nowadays this game feels like it's yet another casual, sometimes comedy game. This is not supposed to be a comedy game, but in my opinion that's bad. That's very bad. These days it feels like I just join a Dead by Daylight match and I'm just trying to rush generators as fast as possible and then move on to the next game as fast as possible. It used to be that I would enjoy every single game and I would be sad leaving the match. You know what I mean? I don't think you will ever get to experience what I got to experience back in 2019. I got more experience than many people who just started playing Dead by Daylight recently, and DBD really used to be more fun. In fact, I'm planning to make a video why old Dead by Daylight was better than Dead by Daylight now.
I think Dead by Daylight 1 year ago was so much fun, man.
I think 3 years ago it was better than ever. Because,
I don't know.
I mean, killers, they were very, very strong compared to right now. They had this perk Hex Ruin, that was the most popular perk in the game. Yeah, Old Ruin.
Yeah, Old Ruin.
Yeah.
Like 1 year ago, I was obsessed with Dead by Daylight and old Dead by Daylight especially. And I used to watch so many old videos and of Dead by Daylight, so I know what you're talking about. But I don't know if it was fun.
So,
do you know the old walking animation?
Oh yeah, old walking animation. I remember
so
when
good.
they updated walking animation, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Why? Why would they do it? It looks more realistic now, but I really miss old walking animations. Or the HUD, you know, the HUD, like...
Oh my god!